Sometimes Age of Empires has bugs, but other times it really has bugs. And this is something that, in the words of the Viper, needs to be fixed as ASAP as possible. So here we have a bunch of hunters on a boar, and we can force drop food with the new force drop hotkey. That works all well and good. Grew up a few more vills, but here's a problem. I have these vills, let's just right click the TC. And all of a sudden, they decide they're going to become lumberjacks, and they spread out to the straggler trees to start chopping wood. Yeah, this doesn't happen for the sheep, but it does for the boar. If you ever notice your vills going to chop stragglers during the game randomly, it's because they finished a boar or you right-clicked a boar, and they decided to become lumberjacks. But this kind of bad actually gets much, much worse and much more hilarious. So, alternate universe now. This time I have this deer right underneath my TC, and villagers taking the deer no problem. Well, problem, because if I take those vills, I'm going to carefully move them over to the side of my TC while they're still carrying food. Notice they are still hunters, but now they're closer to the straggler tree than they are to the deer. So if I just press that drop-off hotkey, watch what happens. They become hunters still, but they decide they're going to hunt the straggler trees, shooting the straggler trees with arrows, and now, even though the trees have wood on them, the villagers are collecting food at the same work rate as though they were hunters. I can even have a villager chop wood, and now we have this lumberjack and a hunter collecting from the same tree at the same time. So, yeah, this is used to turn your straggler trees, or even just your big forest trees, those work just as well, into sources of food instead of wood. But, okay, this takes a bit of hunt under the TC. Surely this is just something you can do in the early game, and it's not going to happen all game long, right? So here I have this nice woodline set up at the back of my base where all of my villagers are hunting wood. I'm playing as the Mongols, so they are getting the hunt bonus. And, well, later on, I have this other villager, and I want to assign him to the woodline, so what can I do? Well, let's just make a farm here right next to the mill, and you'll notice that I saved this boar at the back of my base. Now, this might not be possible on a map like Arabia, but on Arena, we're pretty good to do this. Now this villager on the farm has some food, so I just right-click the board to turn him into a hunter, and I'll move him over here between the mill and the wood line, and press that force drop hotkey, and there he goes, off hunting that tree of his. Oh, I just find this so hilarious. Sometimes I get stuck a bit. He'll probably go back to work soon. Anyway, so yeah, this is a pretty big bug, especially if people start picking Mongols and using it, and especially on maps like Arena, where as long as you don't have both of your boar forward near the wall where they can be lamed, I don't know, maybe even then you just lure it back to the TC or something, and you make like a little, like Zoo Tycoon pen around the boar so it doesn't walk back. But anyway, just thought this was hilarious and wanted to show it off. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully, by next time, this is fixed. Okay, so bit of an extra bug here. I just did this while I was testing, and I wasn't recording at the time, so I didn't see exactly what I clicked on. But notice we have this vill here on the farm, and as that tree's about to expire, he drops off his food, and it plays the farm exhausted noise and message. I tried to reproduce this, and I couldn't figure out what happened. Somehow, I'm thinking I pressed the force drop hotkey at the same time as the nearby villager was finishing the tree, but this vill wasn't a hunter, he was a farmer. And somehow that tree being finished, when he went over to that patch of grass next to it, decided that the farm was exhausted. And obviously it's not, 'cause it's still there, but it played the exhausted noise. So I have no idea what happened there. I'll just put the rec in my Discord if anyone wants to look at it and try to investigate, because I would certainly love to know what happened there.